29th, 2022. This is Saturday night, right here on Daniel's Horror Talk. I'm, wait for it, Daniel Richardson. And yes, I hope you guys are staying cold out there wherever the hell you're listening to this at, because it was literally 2 degrees this morning. I wake up, it's 2 degrees, too fucking cold. Who needs that shit? I really fucking hate winter. There's nothing joyful about winter as an adult at all. Like when you're a kid, you know, snow days and playing in that shit and everything else. But it's like as an adult, you gotta get up early, you gotta scrape your fucking car, you gotta, you know, start it up, let it warm up. It's fucking miserable, not gonna lie. Anyway, so I hope wherever you guys are at, you guys are toasty, warm inside your house listening to this. I do got some big news. I'm gonna start this thing off with a little TPS good fortune. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week or not. I'm sure I did, just because, you know, super excited about it. I'm just telling anybody who will listen, like randomly just stopping strangers on the street, like telling them this news. But you know, recently at the beginning of the year, we were officially selected to be in the MoCo International Film Festival. This is based out of India, and I was super excited about that, because just the idea that we make these little films. And I mean, I want to, you know, stress that right now. I am proud of every film we do, but I'm also very realistic. Like, we are making these amateur, like you could tell the budget by looking at the film. Like, there's no money in these, but there's a lot of heart, a lot of passion, a lot of creativity, and I guess that's what's, you know, shining through. So I'm so happy about that. But just, it blows my mind that, like, we're making kind of an international splash right now. Or, I mean, as big as a splash as you can with these kind of films out of Bedford, Indiana. But, hey, that's what we're doing. And so, anyways, beginning of the year, we were an official selection in the MoCo International Film Festival. And then earlier this month, we won. Or, sorry, Angel, it's her film. She won. First, it was kind of cool to see progression, because we went from being official selection to semifinalist. Then we went on to finalist. And then after that, it went right to we won it was the best experimental short film. Angel Lopez, my girlfriend, won that. And like, what the fuck, really? That's awesome. Our little Z-grade monster film, you know, won best experimental film at the MoCo International Film Festival. And then shortly after that, we were you know, told that we also, me and Josh, won a special mention award for best producers, which is also just fucking incredible and mind-blowing at the same time. It's like, really? You know, but whatever, you know, we won. So that was the big news, you know, we've had from the beginning of the, you know, of the month and everything. So, you know, that was what was going on last week whenever I was recording this podcast. And so, anyways, Monday, we were informed that, because shortly after that, we were hit up by the Dreams Catchers International Film Festival, also out of India, and they were like, we really want you to be at our film festival as well, and invite us to, you know, compete there. And we're like, sure, why not? You know, let's do it. You know, let's ride this wave. And Monday rolls around, and we're told, hey, you guys are now official selection in the film festival, and we're just like over the moon, ecstatic. That's insane. That's all, to me, that's it right there. Once you're officially selected, I'm okay with that. It may sound cliche or false, but I'm being completely honest when I say this. Like, that to me is as big as winning, because, like, we're there to dance. Regardless, win, lose, draw, whatever, people are seeing the movie. And that's all I really care about at the end of the day. I just want people to see our work, know that, you know, this is what we're doing over here in our corner of the world. So, yes, you know, we were accepted. Awesome. So, you know, next day we get word that we're actually finalists in this as well. And again, I'm just straight up blown away, because I was like, what? Like, we even skipped the semifinal part. We went straight to finalist here. And it's just funny, because I'm posting this on our social media. You know, we do the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Did I say the Facebook? Jesus Christ, showing my age right there. So anyways, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So every time we're getting any kind of news about anything, I'm just going straight to, you know, social media with it. So it seems ridiculous, like, you know, you'll see a post where it's like, hey, we just got, you know, selected to be in this film festival. Oh yeah, we just got, you know, finalists here. And then, no joke, the very next day, it came down that we won the, Phenomenal Attainment Award, which feels a lot like an honorable mention or a special mention award. But hey, I'll take it. It's a win. So anyways, within 3 days, official selection, finalist, win, which blew our mind. We're so happy with that. And again, thank you everybody at Dreamcatchers International Film Festival. It means a lot to us. Now, also during this time, once we got invited to them, we were also invited to, I'm going to butcher the name, I apologize in advance, the Vesuvius International Film Festival. The Vesuvius, I looked something up about that because they said you can win a Vesuvius award. It meant like volcano. So we'll just call it the Volcano International Film Festival. But it's based out of Italy. They hit us up like not even 10 minutes after we got the word that we just won this, Angel won this phenomenal attainment award. I will glob onto her wins the entire time. We won. But no, after she won this award, 10 minutes later, we get the nod that, hey, we were actually an official selection at this Vesuvius. I'm going to say this right one of these days. International Film. The Volcano Film Festival, we got into it. And so now we're the official selection there as well. So just, again, I want to thank everybody. And I mean, not just these film festivals who are, playing us. Thank you, everybody who has shown us love and support every step of the way. Because that's really what, boils down to right there. It's, we'll still be making these movies, but we'll be making them for ourselves at that point. So the fact that people are catching on, they're watching, they're liking, and it's just been this crazy like snowball effect. It's just kind of, it's weird. And again, like, this may seem like small potatoes to a lot of people out there, especially people who are like, in the underground film, industry or the indies, where they're just like, that's no big deal, shit. We're in like real IMDb qualifying, film festivals. Well, this is huge for us because again, we're not known by anybody hardly. So the fact that other countries are going to be watching our films, like, oh yeah, we've seen a TPS production. We know the crazy shit they're doing over there. That just, I don't know, it blows my mind. So again, we're humbled. Thank you so much for everybody out there who has just supported, watched. Even just the people who just share our shit. That's enough right there. You're spreading the word. You're getting everybody else to drink the Kool-Aid for us. So we appreciate that. Thank you. Speaking of drinking the Kool-Aid, let me take a little drink real quick. Yeah, that felt good. So, anyways, I'm not gonna lie. This is probably gonna be the half-hour version of the show because there is not a whole lot of horse shit that happened or that I watched this week, like at all. Admittedly, I've been watching, binging Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know if you guys watch this. I don't know if you guys are pro wrestling fans out there or not. But this is some good shit right here. I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. Well, let me take that back. I was a huge pro wrestling fan. I'm a huge pro wrestling fan from back in the day. And then I got out like in 2007. I still watch, like, I have Peacock now. Network is no longer an option for me. But Peacock, I still have it. I still watch all the old school wrestling. I don't know. It takes me back to, happier times, not just in wrestling, but in life in general. And I don't know. It's something I'll probably never grow out of. However, I try to get into this new stuff, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't care. It's like, yeah, it's flashier. The moves are, quicker. It looks more athletic and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't give a fuck anymore. It's fucking ballet now. Like, I miss the days when it was supposed to be pseudo-real, Big greased-up dudes getting there and just pound each other. And like, yeah, that's wrestling. That was wrestling to me, and that's what I gravitate towards. So, anyways, I digress. So, yeah, I've been watching a lot of Dark Side of the Ring. The only new movie I watched this week, I did get around to it, and I'll be dropping mild or minor spoilers, so I apologize in advance if you don't want to hear that. I guess fuck off this week, I'll catch you guys next week. But I watched VHS 94. I've only seen the first two VHS. I never did get around to watching VHS Viral. I didn't really hear a lot of good things about that, to be honest with you, so I just kind of, I don't know. I didn't steer clear, but I just never came across it and didn't bother to pursue it. But I did watch the first two VHSs. I'm a fan of both of them. I do kind of feel like, I don't know, like with most anthology movies, some segments work while others just don't. And I feel like with VHS, especially, the first two at least, if you took the segments I like out and cobbled them together into a movie using part one's framing device. I love the framing device of part one. Probably the best one of the bunch right now. Keep that, but then go ahead and, just substitute the movies out, you can make like a great film. I really do believe that. Top of my head, I couldn't tell you right now which, ones I would use from 1 and 2, but yeah, you can definitely make a great, movie that way. So VHS 94 came out earlier in the year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like springtime. Or sorry, last year, not this year, last year, 2021. And yeah, I had all intention of watching it right off the bat and just never got around to it. And the weird thing about Shudder was when I went back to go watch it, and this was actually been a couple months ago I was going to watch it, I actually typed it in the search engine and it came up like nothing found. And I was like, well, that's fucking weird. And I was like, all right, whatever. And 'cause, I mean, it was like a Shudder exclusive or Shudder original. I don't know what it was. It was Shudder something. What exactly is there between an original and an exclusive? Because I know their originals actually do get like festival plays before Shudder signs them up. So it's like, you guys didn't make that. Is it not just an I don't know. Either way, someone at Shudder wants to get back with me at that. I'd appreciate that. But anyways, so I was going to watch it a few months ago, and it came up, could not find a search or does not exist or whatever. And I thought that was weird, but whatever. So over this past week, I'm just kind of going through Shudder, and I'm just kind of going through all the movies that are coming out. And I used to get emails. I don't get the emails anymore. They used to send out like a little weekly email like, hey, here's what's new on Shudder. I haven't got those in a while. I don't know if they just dropped me from the list or what. But either way, I'm just going through all the movies. And I just scroll down a lot. Like, I don't know. I'm just, not really seeing anything new come out that's, catching my eye. So I'm just like, fuck, I'll scroll through all the fucking movies. And I came across, I was like, oh shit, here it is. And even after I popped it on and watched it and everything else, I decided, like, let me search for it again. Like, did they re-add it? And no, for some reason, and maybe just my computer or my account, but whenever I search VHS 94, nothing comes up. Like, nothing comes up. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, so I watched VHS 94. I will say overall, I kind of feel like it's just like the other two where it's like, yeah, it's overall, it's all right. Ish. I think the segments themselves, much like the wraparound story, like the more it progressed, just the weaker it got, I felt. I'll skip the wraparound story. I'll just kind of hit the segments themselves. I think the first segment is by far the best. In fact, if I was going to do my ultimate VHS compilation, I would add this one to it. I kept saying Ratman, but apparently it's like Ratman, like Maaaan or some shit like that. I don't know. I'm going to still keep saying Ratman because I like the idea of Ratman. It's like Batman, but a rat living in the sewers. It was like this urban legend kind of thing, story, and it's these newscasters who decide to get down the sewer, and then they decide, and it's neat because it's like you know where it's going right off the bat, anyways, but or somewhat. I did not expect this weird underground cult thing, but I did know hey, we're in a horror movie. You guys are underground. You're gonna run into this Ratman eventually. But anyway, they're down there, they're filming, and then they decide to go, because they're doing a story about the Ratman, which they both believe is just complete bullshit. But they decide, like, you know what? There's clearly people living down here. Let's do a story about the homeless. We can make a real good story. Now, this is like how they take this turn, and they're doing everything for the right intentions, even though the cameraman kind of calls out the lady on her bullshit. She's like, no. He's like, no, you're clearly just doing this just to get yourself over. Like, you can care less about the homeless. You're just trying to, get yourself. All right, drink. I don't know if it's professional drink inside the mic or not, but this is my show, so fuck it. Anyways, but of course, they end up running to this weird cult, and then they bring out this Ratman. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm sure you guys have seen pictures by now on online. This thing is weird fucking looking. And then it just gets crazy from there because, the dude, like the Ratman, will spit in your face. And somehow, I don't know how it picks and chooses. Some people, it just melts their fucking face away, but then others become possessed by it and join its ranks. I'm not sure what you have in your blood or what's in your mind to make you kind of pass that test, but either way, just a really cool, fucked up short, and I really enjoyed it. And it was intercut, and I thought it was kind of interesting. I didn't realize they pseudo counted this as like its own segment too, but it was intercut these commercials for the Vegematic or some shit. This veg juicer or veg slicer, I don't know what it was. Some kind of Vegomatic. I'm going to call it Vigil Meg. I think that's what they called it on there. But anyways, this segment, it wasn't even like a segment. It was like literally like you saw less than like 15, 20 seconds of this. But this whole segment was directed by, and I'm going to butcher the guy's last name. I'm sorry if this dude ever listens to this. Steven Kronowski. I don't know. Dude just did PG Gorman, which, oh my god, fucking amazing. I love PG Gorman. I think PG Gorman's a great fucking film. Also on Shudder. This ain't just a commercial for Shudder, I promise. But hey, check him out anyways. But anyway, I love this dude. He did a short. That's how I first found out about him. He's done a lot of stuff I need to go check. I need to check out a lot of his shorts and everything. I think he did the newest Leprechaun too, which I haven't seen. But this guy did, what brought him my attention was his segment in the ABCs of Death Part 2, I think. I'm almost certain it's Part 2. But he did this segment called Wishes for W. And because, the ABCs of Death, every letter is assigned for, something that kills you. And in this case, it's a wish. But in that short, what his segment was basically like it's a commercial, like an 80s commercial, toy commercial, where these kids, you've seen these commercials before, kids are playing with these, and it's like this He-Man inspired toys, collection, and they're playing with them, and, one kid's like, I wish, we could really go to, I'm going to say Attorney, I forget what his realm was called, but really wish we could go to Attorney and fight with these guys, and they get transported there, but then you find out this place is, like, it's the R-rated version of He-Man, like, it's just fucking, it gets dark really quickly. Right off the bat, Prince whatever, he turns out to be a big fucking pussy, and anyways, they end up capturing the two kids, and since one kid's holding the action figure of, like, the bad guy, their Cobra Commander or whatever, they get separated. So one kid gets thrown in a dungeon, the other one gets taken to the master, and when the master sees the toy, I guess he just thinks, like, oh yeah, this kid, he must be, a true believer or whatever. He takes his mask off, and whatever this kid sees, like, it's like a blinding light, like the deadlights, and whatever it does, it makes this kid just head explode. Like, it kills him. Like, the kid's fucking dead. And I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. This other kid, poor kid, he gets thrown into this dungeon, and there's this He-Man type character there. Sorry, take another drink. There is this He-Man type character there, and it gets very pedophilic. Like, right off the bat, he's like, he keeps calling him Princess, and he's like, I'll protect you, Princess. They don't show anything. It's all up to your imagination, which is probably worse, actually, because honestly, whatever limits they could push as far as showing it, you're giving yourself the free show in your head, and it's like, oh, this is so fucked up. But he helps him escape, but unfortunately, it's like, yeah, you got out of the dungeon, but now you're stuck in the bag with this sick fucking, I don't know. It's really fucked up. It was really dark, and that's what I liked about it. And that's what I like about PG Gorman. I know I started off on VHS 94. Stick with me. I'm sorry. I will wrap back. I promise. I go off these tangents. But that's what I liked about PG Gorman and Wishes, Wishes for W, or W is for Wish. As a kid, I would watch kid movies. It wasn't just like I always watched horror. I mean, I did, but I watched a lot of kid stuff too. But you always feel like kid movies are just talking down to you. And no matter how awesome or epic a kid movie is, in the end of the day, it's still a kid movie. My favorite example of this will be like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or one of my favorite movies that's always forgotten about is Three Ninjas. Great movies, but it's just like, at the end of the day, they're for kids. Like, no one's getting brutally murdered, and there's no stakes. I mean, the kids aren't going to die. They're not going to murder a kid on camera, and so you just feel safe. Like, even Three Ninjas, these three kids are like fighting these trained ninja warriors, and they're beating them up with like stomps on the feet and goofy sound effects. It's just like, hey, don't get me wrong, it's fucking awesome. I love it. I love Three Ninjas. Fucking put it on right now. I'll watch it. I'll do a whole commentary track on these episodes one of these days. Three Ninjas. I don't give a shit. Love Three Ninjas. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's a kid movie. It's a fucking kid movie. And I don't know. Like, as you grow up, and I'm speaking for myself. This isn't the general public, but for me personally, like, my tastes tend to go darker. Horror fans, we get jaded. We that's why there's extreme horror and there's weird shit like Serbian film and the Human Centipede. There's fucked up shit out there because horror fans do just kind of get like, we need more. And so the notion that, this guy kind of keeps his kid sensibilities, but he's doing these fucked up, things. I don't know. I love that. There's another movie that came out called Turbo Kid, and it was kind of in the same realm of like, had like a, Karate Kid, Power Rangers, Mad Max kind of vibe to it. And it was a kid's movie for all, intent and purpose, except for the fact that, like, there's this real tyrant trying to kill him. And kids are getting murdered. And it's just like, holy fucking shit. I don't know. It's funny because, like, these movies, I think, audiences are going to love them or hate them. I think anybody from my age will be more, will gravitate more to these because, I don't know, we all grew up on those movies, Power Rangers and, Ninja Turtles or whatnot, Animorphs. What was that the Animorphs? That's the Transformer insect animal things? Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. We all grew up on these things, but we all became horror fans as well. We all like our death and destruction, our blood and guts. But I think a lot of us would like to go back to those kid days. So if you can combine them somehow on screen, and these filmmakers have found a way to do so. And so I fucking love them. There was a short that was on Vimeo a while back. I think you can find it on YouTube too, but I know it's on Vimeo. Some dude did like a Power Rangers like reboot, unofficial. Let's keep that in mind right now, unofficial. But he got like a lot of the actors like grown up to come back, but it's like you see it's like a dark side of the Power Rangers, and you see like every one of these Power Rangers like post being Power Rangers have led these fucked up lives. I mean, just full of drugs and nudity and ultra violence, and it's just like I loved it. I was never a big fan of the Power Rangers except for maybe the movie. I like the movie, guilty pleasure, fucking sue me, but the show itself I was never huge on. I was more of the Kmart knockoff brand VR Troopers. I love VR Troopers, but I didn't like Power Rangers. Beside the point, either way, I like seeing these Power Rangers, in a grittier, more adult role. And I know, when movies get remade, like, I don't know, a good example would be Turtles. When the Ninja Turtles got remade recently, and it was, produced by Michael Bay and everything. And I watched it. And honestly, I knew it wasn't made for me. I'm in my 30s. They're not making Turtles movies for people in their 30s. This is for the next batch of kids. And so I went into it. I still enjoyed it. It was, I bought both of them. I have them in my collection. They're all right films. I still love the original trilogy because that's what I grew up on. The problem is we grow up, and I feel like these movies never really do. Instead of growing up, they just kill them and then go back and rebrand them for another group of kids. The closest thing we as adults ever got to that was maybe like Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Like I felt like those were grown-up movies. Like I don't know, I don't watch Marvel movies, and I know there's going to be a lot of people going to fight me on this, but it's just like, end of the day, those are made for kids. Like this, all there is to it. They are made for kids. They're not gritty for us, and that's why I was so pissed when I found out Scott Derrickson was going to direct, or maybe he did direct one of them, but he wanted to go darker with one of the fucking Doctor Strange, Mr. Strange, whoever that is, and he was wanting to make it more horror, and they kept kind of saying oh yeah, we're going, Marvel movies are going to become more horror themed, and it's like no, they're not. They will never. They're doing it again this weekend with Morpheus. Fuck you, Morpheus ain't going to be horror at all. It's going to appeal to the 10-year-old kids in the audience, and that's fine. It's made for them. But I feel like the Dark Knight trilogy was the only grown-up. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. I just felt like it was made for grown-ups. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, that was it. Closest we ever got. I mean, I don't know. If I'm wrong, say I'm wrong. But I feel like that's the closest thing we will get to, being a kid in the 90s, loving Batman, and then being a young adult in the 2000s, and then getting to see The Dark Knight. I felt like, it was growing up with me. It was becoming more serious with me. And I feel like that's kind of the problem. A lot of these movies don't get a chance to grow up with us. I would love to see the Ninja Turtles as adults. I'm tired of Ninja. Let's see the adult Turtles for once with adult problems. I mean, why not? That's what pissed me off whenever I finally read, and I get it. I'm not pretending like I don't get it. I know studios are all about the money. It's all they care about at the end of the day. They don't want to alienate the mainstream public, so I get it. But when I read the old Scooby-Doo movie from the 2000s, yeah, 2000, I believe it was. Late 90s, it was 2000, early 2000s. With Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard and all them. The initial pass that was written by James Gunn, who would go on to become the king of Marvel, was a very adult-oriented, movie. It was, Shaggy's a stoner, and, there's Velma and Daphne were lesbians and shit, and a lot of adult humor, and Ralph and Batsy was yeah, we're not doing that, but we will make your movie, we'll just make it for kids. And I get it, because it's going to make more money for kids. I get that, but it's I grew up on Scooby-Doo. Why not let's see them as adults? I don't want to see them as adults pretending to be, teenagers. So anyways, I don't know. Got off on a tear there, but I love Steven Krasowski, or however you pronounce his name. But I love his filmmaking. I love his sensibilities, and I love that style, that kid fantasy meets blood and guts. If he just adds some more titties in there, perfect package, dude. I know I'm a perv. Can't help it. I know we're told in this era of everybody just being woke, all of a sudden we can't like titties anymore. But guess what? Fuck you. I love titties. So throw some titties in that movie. Keep the blood and guts. Keep the childlike sensibility. Oh, let's do it. Let's just go all the way with it. But anyways, I digress. Back to VHS 94. The next segment was, I don't know these by name. I apologize, but it was the one where this. Excuse me, I'm getting a drink real quick. I don't know why my mouth's just been getting really dry lately. Anyways, so the next segment, this girl's working at this funeral home, and they're having a wake for this dead, corpse, and her job is to kind of sit there and record it all, because that's what the person's dying wish was. And, it's just like an open wake, but like no one shows up, so she's just kind of left there on this dark and stormy night with his body. And like I said, honestly, this one starts off really good. Like, it was really intriguing. It was really creepy. But then, like, by the end, it's just, again, spoiler alert, and I apologize. Seriously, if you haven't seen it yet, I urge you, just turn this off, come back. I'll be here, I promise. But go watch the movie first, then come back and listen to my review. But it just delves down to, like, this generic-ass zombie nothing. And it just ends like weak sauce. And I don't know, it had all these cool elements. Like, it had this storm going on outside, and like this, like, tornado like throws a fucking tree through the window or whatever, and I don't know, it was crazy, but just in the end, it's just a regular boring ass zombie movie. I don't know, I didn't care for that. I'm done with zombies. I never thought I'd say that, but I'm just fucking done with zombies. I remember, it's funny because as a kid, my first real experience with zombies, oddly enough, even though I was born in '85, my first taste was Night of the Living Dead. The original. Local horror host in our area is a guy by the name of Sammy Terry. And he had this Halloween special one night, and it was showing it. And I remember, it's funny, because I think him and this may sound like sacrilege, and it definitely is, but Joe Bob was hosting something, or I was on TNT. This is like, mid-90s. He still had a show on TNT. And he was doing a Halloween thing too, but I chose, and I'm sorry for the knocking noise. I'm in an apartment with just the scourge of Bedford, Indiana. So they're animals. Even though I'm up late, they are too, apparently, and they're making shit upstairs. Anyways, so back to the 90s, Joe Bob has a Halloween special, but so does this Sammy Terry. And Sammy Terry is like a local legend, and he was way before my time. It was like my parents, like that generation, they all watched Sammy Terry. By the time I was a kid, Sammy Terry was done. Like, he was already out the door pretty much. So, I watched Joe Bob. But when I heard Sam Terry's doing a special, I was like, I want to check it out. And it was really, like, his shit's really cheesy, like, ridiculously cheesy. And I think they were all kind of like that. If you go back to in any region or territory that had their own horror host, they were all kind of like that. But, it was what it was. But the movies he was showing that night was, it was Fright Night, the first one, and then it was, first one, and then it was, no, it wasn't. It was part 2. Sorry, it was Friday Night Part 2, and then Night of the Living Dead. Anyways, past all that, so I got to see Night of the Living Dead for the first time. And I remember, and I was a kid. I was honestly 10, maybe 9. I was 9 or 10, maybe. And I'll stretch and maybe say 8. I don't know. I was young. But, when they mentioned Night of the Living Dead, it's like, oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of these films. And then I watched it, it's like, oh shit, it's black and white. And I was already bummed out. Like, I was just ignorant, didn't realize, like, oh yeah, black and white, that just means it's old and crappy. And so I was still watching it because I was like, I'm a trooper. I don't know, I have that weird tendency where it's hard for me to turn off a movie once I get started. Like, even shit films, I'll finish. Like, I don't know, it's this OCD thing, or if I'm maybe on the spectrum somewhere where it's like, nope, can't not stop now, I gotta watch it all. Either way, I finished this movie up, but I was blown away, like, holy shit. And to this day, it's in my top 3 films of all time. Top 5 films of all time. Top 3 horror films of all time. Anyways, but it's my number 3. Maybe number 2. Toss up between that and The Shining. On any given day, I can go one way or the other. But regardless, Night of the Living Dead is, like, one of my favorite films. And it just blew me away. Fucking, just... And so, anyways, from that point on, I was watching a lot of these old zombie movies. Went back and watched Dawn of the Dead, which became, like, the classic. That's another one of those that just, like, everybody who watched Dawn Dead, in those early days was like, hey, if you were, survive a zombie apocalypse, what would you do? And we always just went to the mall. Like, everyone was like, we didn't even really have a mall here in Bedford, or we didn't have a good one, but we still go to the mall now. And I want to say by the end of at the end of the drought, the zombie drought, we were talking about, where would we hole up at? And that time I was working at the movie theater, and we're like, we'll just come here. All the food you can eat. It's like, I got sick of popcorn and candy so quickly working there that I couldn't imagine trying to hole up in a theater now. But anyways, but I digress. So, by the time I'm like in my, in the mid 90s, late 90s, there was really no zombie movies. And I was really depressed. And I remember the first one that kind of came around was Resident Evil. Now I'm talking here stateside. I know across the sea they probably do other stuff, but the stateside, Resident Evil was like the first one. And so, after that, I want to say it was Land of the Dead. And then after that, Shaun, which I was British, but, it came over here. And then at that point, there was kind of a lull, but then Zombieland and fucking Walking Dead came out. And then the gates just blew the fuck open. And it was just like nothing but zombie movies. And I just remember thinking, and of course, Resident Evil sequels, but those became less zombies and more just monsters and action and shit, which I love, but still. But I remember thinking oh my god, we're in the golden age of zombies. How awesome is this? And now here we are, over 10 years later. I'm just like, I'm fucking done with zombies. I'm sick of zombies. Get rid of these fucking zombies. So I don't know. Ready for them to go back in the grave. That's all I'm saying. Taking a drink. So, anyways, so that was the second segment. The third segment was the Japanese segment, where basically it's like Dr. Frankenstein, but he is merging, humans with robotics and everything, and he creates these killer robot things, and cops show up and shoot the place up, and then basically you got one robot who's just evil, and then this girl robot who she's just trying to get out. She's just trying to protect herself. And of course, her body kind of takes over, and she becomes a killing machine. She wipes out, and it was just tonally, it was so different. And I don't know, this would probably be a decent movie by itself, on its own. But this was I think it was probably the longest segment. At least it felt like the longest segment. And I didn't care. It's not my thing. I don't care about killer robots unless it's Terminator. I don't know. I feel like this is people who are really into anime, they would love, they jack off over this shit. But personally, I couldn't get into it. I can care less. So it just felt like a really drawn out. There was elements of it I really liked. I like the cops that come in and they're ordered to arrest the scientist, but they just kill him instantly instead. And kind of that totalitarian vibe to it. I dug that. The other there's a guy who doesn't want to kill and is trying to protect the girl, which saves his life, more or less, starting off. It kind of saves his life initially, because, as she's killing all these soldiers and she gets to him, she remembers, he tried to help her. So, and I like that character, but again, at the end, it doesn't matter. He gets taken out too by the evil robot. And I couldn't get into this. It's just not my thing. And then the final segment, which again should have been awesome, but it was just so fucking weird. About this redneck militia who's going to blow up a government building. Because they got this body somehow that it's blood, and how they determine any of this, they yada yada over everything. We're just sitting on these final hours of this militia, but they end up having this person that they have to kill every day. Again, yada yada over why, but they have to murder this guy in cold blood every day, because I guess if they don't kill him every day, he will become this beast. But they can extract his blood, and that blood is just explosive. Again, how they find out any of this, they just gloss over rapidly. Anyways, so that's the core of this, and so they're going to strike and attack, a government building. But for whatever reason, they have to wait a day, and in that day, they end up doing some homoerotic stuff with the guy. I don't know, the prisoner, and the prisoner ends up spitting on the guy, on this one guy, and then he gets infected. I don't know. It just, again, like the movie, it starts off strong and then just goes downhill, and it's just, I don't know. I guess it was their take on ignorant rednecks, America, and their gun militias. And I get it, they deserve, all the shit they get, but it's is that your whole point of this? That's the whole thing? It's just hey, look how stupid these gun nuts are, fuck them. And then that's it. That's pretty much all this short was just that. So anyways, that segment ends, and so the next one we get, or the final thing, is the wraparound story. So the wraparound story starts off beginning. It's just a SWAT team that's going to take over this warehouse. and they believe it's a drug bust. But when they get in there, they realize it's like a weird cult watching various VHS tapes, which is boom, here we are. This is how the framing device works, And just as the thing goes on, you're seeing these creepy people, and they've ripped out their own eyes apparently because they're seeing this such evil shit. And then at the end, you find out that there's two people within the group that have turned on everybody else, and they have a guy, I guess, tied up, and then and so they're like, we've infiltrated your group, and that's their whole thing was like, they curate and collect snuff films and VHS of like weird shit, and they formed their group, and they decide they're going to add this to their collection, and they just bludgeon the guy to death with the camera, and they're like, this is going to be the best one yet. I'm like, no. Like, I want to see the guys rip their fucking eyes. Like, that's how you fucking do it. You end the thing on just beating this guy over the head with a camera? I don't know. It was weak sauce. That's all I'm saying. It was weak sauce. So, when this movie ends, I'm just like, fuck me. I don't know. Like, now, more I'm talking about now out loud, it's like I'm liking it even less. Like I said, the first segment's solid, and then the next one starts off good and then gets worse. 3 just was never my bag, and 4, I don't know, okay premise, but poorly executed. And then the wraparound story, same thing. Starts off kind of like, all right, I'm going along, let's see where this goes. And then at the end, you're just like, what? Fuck you. Nothing will top that first wraparound story, I'm sorry. The pros of this is, I love the look of this whole thing. Like, clearly it was all digital, and it was probably filtered after the fact to look like it's shot on VHS. But they nailed that VHS aesthetic perfectly. Looks incredible. It just does. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna give it. The effects looked all right, I guess. That I will say they used. I'm guessing. I don't know if it's practical or not. I'm sure they're probably practical with digital enhancements. But all the effects look decent, so... Although I will say the Rat Man scene, it was a little dark. Like, I was really wanting to get a good look at this Rat Man. I'm sure it was kept dark for a reason, because, if you start shine a light on it, it's going to be like, yeah, it doesn't look as real. So, I guess that's why they had to do that. But, yeah, I don't know. Overall, VHS 94 was not a huge fan, personally. But that's, just me. I started off saying, like, it's alright. Now I'm just like, take that segment out. Take the Ratman segment and add it to the other and the ultimate. That's what they need to make this ultimate VHS. The Daniel cut. Sign over the rights to TPS Productions. We'll do the TPS cut of VHS, and there you go. Drink time. I'm sorry, I keep taking these drinks. So that is pretty much it. The only thing I would like to talk about, congratulations to the movie Scream. Came out number 1 last week, even though it was dethroned shortly after that. 2 weeks ago. And then last week it was dethroned by the first champ, Spider-Man No Way Home. I have not seen Scream yet. I'm trying to... In fact, I actually didn't listen to a podcast. I was listening to the... on Bloody Disgusting, the app, they have like several podcasts. And so on days that I'm not working at my press, I will, throw that arm, because when I'm working on my press, I got a partner I'm working with, so I got to keep open communication with them. So I don't listen to my headphones then, but on certain days, and it's few and far between. But if I get put by myself and put on a different machine or whatever, I listen to podcasts. And so anyway, I was going through the Bloody Disgusting podcast, and when I got the Halloweenies, their podcast this week was all about Scream, and I was like, fuck, can't listen to that because I don't want any spoilers. So anyways, I had to duck out of that. But yeah, I don't know. The trailer looked okay. Everybody was just like, I don't know. I don't know. This franchise I love. And let me take it back. I love the trilogy. And I know part 3's been getting a lot of shit lately, it seems like. I always liked 3. But I love, obviously I love part 1. I love them. That's the thing. I love them in order right now. I haven't seen 5, but I love them in order. 1's the best. 2 is fucking solid. 3's good. I like 3. I think it has some good moments in it, but yeah. And then 4, I did not like. I may have seen it twice by now, but either way, I haven't cared for it either way. I feel like 4 was like when I realized that I was an adult. And that sounds weird. And I was way past my adult years at that point. Like, when did that come out? 2010? 2009? I would have been 25 at the time, 24, 25 when I watched it. And I was clearly just like, yeah, you're an adult now. because the motives were so fucking stupid by this point. Like, and I get it. Like, I don't know. I guess, I heard an interview with Kevin Williamson, and he kind of said that's the whole thing. Like, Ghostface is someone different every time, so it's someone different motive. And I get that, but part one, it's all about Billy. He blames Sydney because Sydney's mom slept with his dad, which caused his mom to split. So he just kind of harbors that and he kind of held that grudge against her. So he was easily tricked into becoming Ghostface. And Stu was just a follower. He's a sheep. So he joins along. But that's like a motive I can kind of get behind. I get that. Two, it's Billy's mother. She wants revenge. Again, Mickey, just another sheeple. But, again, I could just flat out, I fucking buy that. And then 3, it goes back to jealousy again because it's Roman and, Sydney's mom and his mom just abandoned him and, had nothing to do with him. And he was just, and I'm not saying these are like good motives for Birmingham. Clearly, these are bad people. I'm just saying as a viewer watching a movie and they're saying that's their motivation, I buy it. I'm like, yes, I conceive this. Part 4 rolls around, and this girl just wants to be a reality star. She wants just to do nothing. She don't want to work. She just wants to get a free paycheck. And I don't know. What? Really? You're willing to kill for that? And I'm not saying that's not true. I think this pandemic proved that a lot of people are just going to take advantage of the situation and, hey, I don't have to work and get free money. Let's do it. So I get it. It's a generational thing. And I feel like that was the first time I was just like, yep, I'm an old man, ain't I? I'm an old man just yelling at clouds. I didn't like 4. I didn't think it was that scary. I didn't think it was that good. Yeah. And so I never bothered to. I'm sorry, when MTV, which, when I was watching MTV, the older generation's like, that's not music television anymore. Like, back in my day, it was nothing but music. And I was like, yeah, but, in my day, we had liquid television, which was fucking awesome. We had Celebrity Deathmatch. We had, and we had music, it's still the era of, music videos, just not as much. But like now, it's like there is no music on there. It's just, and it's not geared toward teens anymore. It's geared toward tweens, tween girls. So it's just like, it's not my, it's not my television anymore. So yeah, I think they did like 3 seasons. I didn't watch any of them. I was like, I'm not fucking watching this shit. So the fact that, this 5th one comes out and everybody's excited for it. The first thing that pissed me off is the fact that it's just called Scream. Pussies don't want to say Scream 5. Who's ashamed of that? I would love to have a franchise that would be like, well, we did Unspeakable Acts, and then Unspeakable Acts 2, 3, 4, 17, 18, 19, 30, 37, 50, 53. Who gives a shit? At least you can tell them apart. You know which one's which because they're, numerical. I hate this new trend of like making a prequel or a sequel to a horror film and just using the same fucking title. It started with The Thing. I didn't like that. And despite what they're saying now, when that thing was being promoted, it was being promoted as a remake. Even though right off the bat, people were saying like, yeah, this sound like a sequel. Like, people who were visiting the set were like, this seems like a prequel. But fuck you, they were pretending like this was a remake, and then they kind of just soft shoot it in there as like, oh no, it's a prequel. It's a secret prequel the whole time called The Thing. Just watched The Thing the other day. What'd you watch? At least when The Thing was a remake, they actually changed it to The Thing. It wasn't a thing from the other world. So at least originally, if you say like which version did you watch, you can be like, well, I watched The Thing, or I watched The Thing from another world. Here now, we have to say, oh, I watched The Thing, the prequel. The 2011 one. That's The Thing I watched. Fuck you. Halloween did it. I hated it just as much then. And that was, I was already pissed that they deleted the timeline, but whatever. Halloween Kills made me feel a little bit better about it, but my initial rant on Halloween, and I may have to do that one day, but this ain't the time for it. But anyway, I hated that they did the whole same title. So right now, as the series looks on this new timeline, the first movie is Halloween. The second movie is Halloween. Fuck you. You could have called it Halloween Reborn. Anything. You could call it, don't want to call it Resurrection. We won't make that mistake again. But anyway, so I don't know. And so the fact that, they're like, it's Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, and then Scream Again. Fuck you. Not even, Scream Again would have been a better title, but no, it's just Scream. Just Scream. Fuck. I don't know. So anyways, everybody seems to kind of like it, but it's funny because everybody's like, best Scream movie since Scream 2. And it's like, that's not saying much, guys. That's not, 3 has its flaws. I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't. But, I mean, I like it. I get people's gripe with it. And 4 sucked. So to be like, this is the best one since then, it's like, well, that's kind of a low bar. So, I don't know. I plan on watching it. Unfortunately, I got a kid now. That really takes a bite out of my movie watching time and my theater time. I'm not ashamed to admit this. I'm a pirate all the way. I will download that shit. I will stream. Actually, I don't download. I stream. I'll find those bootleg sites that stream it. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Who knows? Fuck you. It's art. I ain't paying for art. I watch art. If it's good, I'll buy the DVD. So make a good movie. So I'll buy your DVD. I'll pay big bucks for a DVD with all the special features and everything if you make a good movie. But don't just expect to get that shit right now. So I do plan on watching Scream. Problem is, there's a cocksucking company out there called slotlights.com. It's some kind of like online gambling site. Taking a drink. It's an online gambling site. And anyways, for whatever reason, they go on these bootleg sites and they show, it's a bad, we all know, the cam look when you watch a bootleg movie. And none of us like it, but, it is what it is. The problem is these fuckers have their logo. First they have text over the middle of the screen, go to slotlights.com, and then there's a link or whatever. But then they will stop the movie and show like a big minute commercial for slotlights.com. But when you look at the run times, they usually, and most cams do that. I won't just blame them for that, but they cut the credits off. So if there's a post-credit scene, fuck you, you ain't watching it. But again, it's like they're altered. Like, the times never match up, so you're not getting. See, and I just remember watching. I was trying to watch Spiral from the Book of Saul, and that thing was off by like 13 minutes. And I was like, "There's no way there's 13 minutes of credits on here. What the fuck?" And then as I'm watching it, or trying to watch it, the quality's really bad. It was really dark. I couldn't see shit hardly. And then midway through, a commercial pops up, and I was like, or about 2 minutes in, a commercial pops up, and I'm like, what the fuck? So not only is this thing like off by 13 minutes, the remaining time has commercials in it. So I was like, there's no way this is gonna come out to the end. So I don't know. I don't watch it when it has slot lights on it. These are the real criminals. Fuck going after the people who are watching the bootlegs. Go after the guys who are distributing shitty bootlegs. Anyways, so yeah, but Scream, I do plan on watching it, but I just don't know when. Yeah, so that's real. I don't gonna lie, I don't really have a whole lot else to say. We did get a little bit more out of us than I thought we would. We hit 47 minutes, so you know what? Let's do it. So, guys, that's all I got. I want to thank you guys for listening. Yeah, just take care of yourselves, and that's it. Later.